Hello and welcome to Chuck's Diecast and Model Reviews. Today we're going to be taking a look at this car. This is one of my favorite cars in the world. This is the Ferrari F50. This particular model is in 1/12 scale and it is by Tamiya. This car, if you're unaware, was the second of the sort of 10-year models made by Ferrari. They, of course, came out with the F40, then they came out with the F50, then they came out with the Enzo, then the LaFerrari, and who knows what they're coming up with next. But this particular model was of Ferrari was designed to be a little bit more luxurious and more streetable than the F40, which was sort of a raw race car sort of thing. With very few creature comforts. The F50 definitely was a little bit more comfortable, but it still had racing roots in it, in that it used a V12 engine that was based on the Ferrari Formula 1 motor, but bored out to, I believe, 4.7 liters. The other thing was the engine was bolted directly to the chassis instead of being mounted on like a subframe or engine mounts to give it additional stiffness. So it was, of course, made for handling there too. I believe the top speed of this vehicle was a little over 200 miles an hour. The car had somewhere in the neighborhood of about 550 horsepower, so it could get you going down the road here pretty good. So there was a limited production of this. I believe they made a total of 349 of them, which is actually far fewer than the number of F40s that were made. I believe there were over 1,300 of those made, and then they made, I think, about 400 or 500 Enzos and about the same amount of LaFerraris as well. This was sort of the unwanted stepchild of the group of those particular cars, and now people are starting to appreciate them, and now they're selling for big money, in the $2 to $3 million range, when 10 years ago they were only a mere $1 million. So, let's go ahead and take a look at this model here. Again, this is by Tamiya. Detail is excellent here, as you would expect from Tamiya. This model came to me as what was called a semi-assembled model. I bought it off of eBay, and it came unassembled, but I opened it up. I thought, well, maybe there might be some things for me to do. Really, the only things I had to do were to slap on the wheels, put on the roof, and that was about it. I mean, everything else was actually completed, and there were no things for me to basically mess up when I got the model. You can see here that the detail here on this side is excellent. You can see that it does have a separate prancing horse badge here. It is not, it is a nice decal that is actually inset in there. You can see here that the wheels, these 5 spokes, are a good representation. These cars did not have shiny 5-spoke rims. They were sort of almost a matte look to them, just like this, with the chrome center caps. My only beef with this here is that these rotors here for the brakes, they're not fully drilled through, like they would be if they were, for example, photo etch or something like that. You can see that the holes do not go through. It's nice to see the details on these Goodyear Eagles here. Good to see that. And everything else on the side here is well done. Let's take a look at the front here. This model is pretty old in terms of when it was first made. It was probably made 20 years ago or so. So some of this stuff, which would be expected of a model of this price wasn't even available back then. Like photo etch for that rotor, for the rotors, photo etch mesh here for the grill, but that is a nice representation of the mesh, even though that's not perforated. And so, it does look good. The Prancing Horse badge on the grill there looks good as well. Kind of funny how Ferrari puts in the Prancing Horse, and then they go, oh, well, let's go and stick another badge there on the hood there too. The headlight detail is fine as well, and also the turn signals are good too. The front here does open up to show you the fact that there is no luggage space. All we have here are cooling fans for the radiator and also the battery up there. Looks like we've got the probably a brake fluid reservoir and a windshield washer reservoir. Really that's all there is to see here. But again, detail is pretty good. Taking a look at the back of the vehicle, I do like this plexiglass here on the back here. It looks really cool with the ventilation for the engine there, so that is neat. Another selling point is this gigantic rear wing, which makes it look particularly fierce. Looking underneath here at the engine bay, you can see a nice amount of detail there. You can even see that as I move the rear wheel, you can see the suspension arms move, as well as the shocks and springs there too, and that the wheel arches are of a carbon fiber sort of texture there, so that is nice as well. Looking here at the rest of the engine bay, you can see the gigantic mufflers, the transmission in the back there, and so that all looks really good. By the way, I'm just holding this up with my fingers, but if I really wanted to, I can also go ahead and prop this up here too, because there are a couple little prop arms, so if you want to show off your engine like that, you can do that. But again, I'm really very happy with the detail on this. Even the little Prancing Horse and F50 badge on the intake plenum there looks really nice, so I definitely love that. Again, this is mesh back here. This is actually perforated mesh, but it's plastic, and actually, let me bring that up here. I'm looking at it off camera. Again, you can see here that the rear part is mesh. It is perforated, so you can see light through it. And it is actually not a bad representation, considering the fact that it is not, photo etch or something like that. So that does look good too. Exhaust looks nice, as well as the taillights. So definitely very happy with that. Before we take a look at the interior, though, what we're going to do here is we're going to actually make this view of the interior a little easier. The nice thing about the Ferrari F50 is that it is a hard top, but it's also what you could call a barchetta as well. You can take the roof off, and then you put on this little sort of tonneau cover, or whatever you want to call it, back here, and then you have an open top car. From what I understand, it takes hours to do that in real life, and you have to pay your Ferrari dealer a bazillion dollars to get that done. So I understand most people either choose to drive it with the roof on or with the roof off all the time. So yeah, let's take a look at this interior here, okay? I'm just going to bring it in closer here and zoom in. Okay, you can see here, nice, steering wheel. You can see the ventilation gauges and the gauges. You can see the F50 badge there, which is all very good. By the way, it also comes with a little suitcase in here as well. Let's see if I can pull it out. I don't know why it comes with a suitcase, but there you go. It's the little Ferrari suitcase there. So I just stuck it here in the footwell, which is probably what everybody else would do since there's no real storage for anywhere else. The funky asymmetrical rearview mirror is there too. You can see the nice representation of the visors too. And then when you take a look at the interior, I'll open the door here so you can see all this. You can see the gated shifter. Yes, this is one of those last supercars with a manual transmission along with the Porsche Carrera GT. You can see, honestly, the seats could probably be a little better in that they are red unpainted plastic, and you can see that they are plastic. Probably painting them would look a little bit better. But you can also see the red buttons there for the seat belt release. The seat belts themselves, you can see, are fabric with a buckle there that is pretty detailed there too. The dash itself, by the way, is flocked, so that is looking good there too. So all in all, again, I'm very happy with the way that this model looks, and I'm certainly proud to be an owner of this particular model, although I would rather have $2 million to burn and buy the real thing. I have seen a few of these in person, and they are gorgeous cars in person. Every one I've seen except for one were red, and I'm pretty sure that is the case, that basically the great percentage of these were red. I think there were a few done in yellow, like a handful, as well as the one that I saw in black, although the black one I heard may have been a repaint. And then there were also silver ones too. And but anyway, that is it for this particular review. I hope you enjoyed this review, and if you did, please go ahead and like the video, and if you want to watch more videos, of course, go ahead and sign up for my channel. Thanks again for watching Chuck's Diecast Model Reviews.